As horror fans, we're all well aware of the fact that our beloved genre quite frequently grants us some of the most outrageous film titles and premises in all of cinema. Films like Monster, Easter Bunny Kill Kill, Killer Condom, Hobo with a Shotgun, Dead Hooker in a Trunk, and lest we not forget Citizen Kane's little brother, Cockhammer. Now, some of these films end up being quite entertaining, while most of them, however, leave us questioning our time management skills. The film I'm about to review now, conceptually speaking, may in fact top them all. Stick around, Horseball Film Review Edition. Welcome back, my horror friends. I am the Headbanger. Before I get started on this film, though, I wanted to mention something coming up at the end of this week after I'm filming this. It is the Days of the Dead Horror Convention in Indianapolis, Indiana. It will be on Friday, July 6th, Saturday 7th, and Sunday the 8th. Highly recommend to go to this convention if you live in any of the surrounding areas. As I say with any convention, it's worth a long drive. It will be a long drive for me. But if you live anywhere in those surrounding areas, highly recommended to go. I've never actually been to a Days of the Dead convention, but I heard from many other people and friends that it's a very well-run convention. They have a fantastic guest lineup this year. Two in particular that I'm most excited about are two big-time horror directors, the legendary Lamberto Bava, and a very rare convention appearance by German director Jörg Buchrein, who of course is most known for the necromantic films, among others. So highly recommended to go. You guys definitely check it out. If you know plans for the holiday weekend coming up, it would be a great time for you all, and I highly recommend you going and checking it out. I'm really excited about it. Can't wait. I'm sure I'll have a report for you guys later on next month. So let's get to this film now. With these film review editions that I'm doing for Horseball, my original intent was to definitely mix it up between newer films and some older films as well. Lately, I've been kind of on a run lately of brand new films, and I had a particular cool 70s film that I was going to review for this time out, but I saw this film. I haven't heard too many people talk about it, so I just felt compelled that I actually absolutely had to do a review on this outrageous film, and it's called Osombie or Osombie. This is directed by John Lyle. Let's get right to the premise. By the way, I'm not making this up. This is really a film. I didn't make this case. This is, in fact, I'm not creative enough to come up with a film like this, but John was. Premise is there's a biological chemical agent that was created, of course, by the U.S. and its allies, and of course ended up somehow in the wrong hands. Then it, of course, mutated and became what ends up being the problem with what's going on with this film for the U.S. forces and their allied forces. It starts off as this NATO team, special force unit, ends up killing Osama bin Laden. They show it right in the beginning. Before he gets killed, though, he injects himself in the arm with this chemical, and he ends up, there's a plane crashes there escorting him back to other foreign soil, and he falls into the ocean. And then in a pretty ridiculously great scene, they show him coming out of this bag, and he ends up being a zombie because he injected himself with this chemical. So now we fast forward to Afghanistan. Sometime later, and this again another special NATO special forces are on a mission in Afghanistan. They don't really give away what it's to track down bin Laden, because there's still a lot of people who believe that he is in fact dead at sea. But they're kind of vague with what their exact mission is, but they're aware of this, that the Iraqis and the Afghanistanis are in fact using this chemical to create zombies to attack their forces. And so this NATO special force unit, they're on their mission, and they come and end up encountering this very attractive young woman named Dusty. Great name. She is there. She's, I guess it's easy to take just a random flight to Afghanistan and end up in the middle of the desert, but she ends up finding them. She's looking for her brother, Derek, who, get this, he was a fireman during 9/11 times in New York City. He lost all of his unit to the tragedy because he called in sick that day. Yeah, I'm not making this up. It's tough for me to even tell you the premise with a straight face, let alone I can't imagine being one of the actors in this film. So credit to them. So he's kind of a conspiracy theorist. He ends up thinking to himself that Osama bin Laden is still alive. No body has been, officially made public or whatever. So he's skeptical, and because of what he went through and with his friends in the New York City Fire Department, he decides to go on his own to Afghanistan and kill Osama bin Laden himself. So Dusty, his sisters, they're looking for him, all while this Special Forces unit is on their mission to find the root of this chemical warfare group that's starting making these crazy zombies to attack us. So that's where we are. They're in Afghanistan, and we meet this group, the Special Force group, and I'll say these characters surprisingly likable. They're various, we got a British guy, Hispanic guy, we got some Americans, we got a girl. So a diverse group of people. Again, surprisingly, they're all really likable. And so we witnessed them on their trek in this mission, and they of course encounter Dusty, and she joins the group as they question why she's there. She lets them know she's looking for her brother Derek. She wants to bring him home because she feels it's crazy what he's doing. Of course, they encounter Derek later on. That's really your premise. All in all, basically, of course, culminating with them finding the reborn, re-dead Osama bin Laden coming back as a zombie and a zombie army to attack us. So that is that fantastically outrageous premise. As far as premises go, as I said, we all know there are so many ridiculous ones out there. This one, as far as premise goes, in my opinion, has to top all of them. Let's get to the good points of this film. Of course, as we know, whether we like it or not, we go into a film with some preconceived expectations of a film, and we try not to let that bias us at all, but we can't help it. And of course, I went into this film, I was really excited to see it after I found out what it was about, but of course my expectations as far as it being a good film were understandably low. So of course that can affect things, and I gotta say I was pleasantly surprised with this film. Some positive points of it, again, the cast. They're very likable, the characters. The acting quality is really good. You'd expect kind of like a Sci-Fi Channel type group of actors, which a lot of times is bad, but these actors are actually really good. Good, likable. There's a lot of good one-liners. The dialogue is surprisingly well written. There's some laugh out loud jokes, quite few of them throughout the movie. There's a really good Walmart joke within the first 5 minutes that had me laughing. Yeah, it just surprised me how well written it was for a film of this ilk. Likable characters always helps in a film like this. Ultimately though, what really makes this film in my eyes as a success and worth viewing is, with this outlandish premise, is how straight-faced they play it. That's what makes this work. The characters taking it very seriously. It's not over the top. It's a serious mission for the U.S. forces. You're rooting for them. Again, likable characters, and it's just, you're constantly reminded, what they're after and how ridiculous it is. But you find yourself really enjoying how serious this film is taking itself, and that's really what makes it work. Another good point of the film too is visually how it looks. The vastness of the desert. I assume it was shot somewhere maybe in Arizona or something, but you don't get that cheap quality feel of a little desert set. I mean, this is a vast desert where they're shooting. It feels like they're in Afghanistan. Visually, the picture is really well. I mean, I don't know if this got put out on Blu-ray, but I think it would look really good on Blu-ray, believe it or not. The actual makeup of the zombies is surprisingly good. Almost kind of reminiscent of something from Fulci's Zombie in a way with the makeup. There are a lot of zombies in this film, just constantly barraged with zombies, and all their makeup, it looks really good, which surprised me. And that leads me to really the only major knock I have on this film is, I'll say a lack of fluids. I never said that about a film before. So shall we say it lacked fluidity, meaning not a lot of blood. I mean, they're constantly shooting these zombies, and unfortunately they go with the CGI route where they kind of just, their head explodes and it splats some CGI blood in the air. And what's really lame is that blood kind of just dissipates in the air, and you're not left with much blood at all, like on the sand or remnants on people. I mean, the way they're shooting these zombies up with their weapons, there should just be blood everywhere. And I mean, how much would it have taken to maybe have some guy after each scene just dump some fake blood all over the sand? So that was kind of an annoying angle to it. I wish they would have took a little more time making it more of a bloodier film. Another thing on the fluids is, you know, these people are in the middle of the desert on a mission for who knows how long they've been there. They're carrying a lot of equipment, they got a lot of stuff on, some bulletproof vests, they got their backpacks, their weapons, and I swear to you, maybe I would have seen it better if this was on Blu-ray. I don't remember ever seeing one little bead or drop of sweat on any of these actors' faces, which is very strange, and maybe I'm just an idiot for paying attention to details like that, but you'd think they would be a little more, you know, I guess you never want people to see you sweat when you're in the armed forces, but come on, they're in the middle of Afghanistan on this big mission, you know, shooting up zombies constantly, and it'd just be nice to see a little sweat, a little more blood. There are some tears though, so that's kind of cool that there are actually some tears when people die, and I gotta admit, I got a little bit choked up as well. So, heavy on tears, lacking on sweat and blood. And the gore in general, I wish, had they just had even a halfway decent gore effects crew, it could really vaulted this film up into the level of maybe one of the classic, you know, ridiculous zombie films up there with like Umberto Lenzi's Nightmare City or Andrea Bianchi's Burial Ground. Instead, it's left, I'd say, as just a solid, good, fun, outrageous zombie film that I think, particularly if you're a big zombie fan, it should definitely be in your collection, worthy of your collection. Again, the only thing I think that keeps it from really cult classic status in that way would be just a solidly decent gore effects team to make this film a little more gory, a little more bloody. But overall, I was pleasantly surprised. Again, the acting is surprisingly, you know, very well done. Likable characters. The dialogue had me laughing quite often. There's some dramatic scenes, obviously melodramatic scenes, but it just comes across as so serious. It just makes it so fun. Interesting to see what he does, if he does any more horror films. But cool thing too about this, I watched this twice, and you'd think that watching this without drinking any alcohol would be a rather egregious error to do that. But honestly, the first time I saw this film, I was drinking and enjoyed it. Second time, just to refresh for the review, didn't have any drinks at all, and I enjoyed it just as much, if not more. So definitely recommend to do some drinking while you're watching a film this ill, but it just proves that you don't have to. So definitely recommended. And Osombie. As the 4th of July approaches, no matter what country you live in, let's put at least for one movie night, let's put our political differences aside, our religious views aside, come together, throw on a film like Osombie, and just show your patriotic pride for one night at least, for one movie night. Come together, no matter where you're from, and just show your pride for your country. And throw Osombie on, throw some meat on the grill, have a good time. For Horror's Ball, Horror Happy Hour, I'm the Headbanger. We'll see you next time at Film Review. I'm out here, guys.